As we grow older, the signs of aging become more apparent. But what if there are subtle cues that tell us something much more critical? Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the elderly loved one you've always known is now showing signs that they might be approaching the end of their life. These are not the obvious dramatic changes that we often associate with old age. No, these are the quieter, more subtle signals that could easily be overlooked. These signs, if noticed early enough, can offer us the chance to prepare emotionally, mentally, and even logistically for the inevitable. Today, we're going to talk about 5 subtle signs that an elderly person may be approaching their final year, critical warnings you simply can't afford to overlook. In this video, we'll uncover what these signs look like, how to recognize them, and why they might be more important than you think. Whether you're caring for a loved one or simply trying to understand the aging process better, these insights will empower you to make informed decisions. So let's dive into these quietly powerful signals that may indicate the final stages of life for the elderly. Aging is a natural process, but as it progresses, certain changes in the elderly may go unnoticed. In this video, we'll explore 5 subtle signs that could indicate that an elderly person is approaching their final year. Signs that often go under the radar, but are critical to acknowledge for their well-being and your peace of mind. As we embark on this journey of understanding the subtle signs that may indicate an elderly person is approaching their final year, it's essential to first recognize that these signs aren't always clear-cut. They often develop over time and are easily mistaken for other health conditions or simply the natural aging process. However, these subtle shifts can hold significant meaning. Let's explore 5 of the most critical warning signs that should not be ignored. 1. Changes in eating and drinking habits. One of the earliest signs that can indicate the aging process is taking a toll on the body is a noticeable change in eating and drinking habits. This can manifest as a decrease in appetite, a reluctance to eat, or even disinterest in food and drink. The body's metabolic rate decreases with age, and this can lead to reduced energy requirements. However, when these changes become more pronounced, it could signal a decline in overall health. For example, if an elderly person is frequently forgetting meals or struggling to maintain a balanced diet, this could be a sign that their body is no longer functioning optimally. In some cases, a decreased appetite may be due to the aging digestive system, but it could also be linked to underlying health conditions such as depression, chronic illness, or the early stages of dementia. It's important to monitor these changes and consult with a healthcare provider to ensure they're not linked to more serious concerns. 2. Unexplained weight loss. While slight weight loss can be a normal part of aging, significant or unexplained weight loss should be a red flag. When elderly individuals begin to lose weight without any intentional effort, it may indicate that something more serious is at play. Unexplained weight loss can be caused by a variety of factors, including chronic illnesses such as cancer, heart failure, or kidney disease. In addition to the physical health implications, weight loss can lead to muscle weakness, frailty, and an overall decrease in the ability to function independently. This decline in strength can increase the risk of falls and other accidents. If you notice consistent and unexplained weight loss, it's crucial to seek medical advice as soon as possible. 3. Increased fatigue and lack of energy. As people age, they may experience a general decrease in energy levels. However, if an elderly person begins to experience extreme fatigue or a noticeable lack of energy that interferes with their daily activities, this could be an early warning sign that their body is starting to slow down significantly. The elderly may feel tired after a full day of rest, or they might struggle to maintain the energy to complete tasks they once found easy. This fatigue can be caused by a range of factors, from chronic diseases like heart failure and diabetes to depression, which is common in older adults. It's essential to distinguish between normal aging and fatigue that's a result of an underlying health problem. If this exhaustion persists, it's advisable to consult with a physician for a thorough evaluation. 4. Difficulty breathing or shortness of breath. Shortness of breath or difficulty breathing is another subtle but critical sign that may indicate that an elderly person is approaching their final year. As we age, our lung capacity and respiratory efficiency naturally decline. However, if shortness of breath becomes frequent or worsens over time, it could be a sign of heart failure, respiratory diseases, or other serious conditions. Breathing difficulties may also be accompanied by other symptoms, such as a persistent cough, swelling in the ankles or legs, or a feeling of tightness in the chest. These symptoms could indicate a decline in heart or lung function, both of which are vital for sustaining life. Any persistent issues with breathing should be taken seriously and examined by a healthcare provider. 5. Increased confusion or memory problems. Memory problems and confusion are often associated with aging, but when they become more pronounced or occur suddenly, they may indicate a more serious issue. In particular, an elderly person who begins to struggle with basic memory tasks, like forgetting the names of close family members or where they are, could be experiencing early signs of dementia or Alzheimer's disease. These cognitive declines are common as we age, but when they occur rapidly or without warning, it can be an indication of something more severe. In addition to memory issues, confusion or difficulty in understanding simple tasks, such as following a conversation or recognizing familiar surroundings, may also signal a deeper cognitive decline. If you notice an increase in confusion or memory lapses that interfere with daily living, it's crucial to seek an evaluation from a healthcare professional. Putting it all together, these 5 signs, changes in eating and drinking habits, unexplained weight loss, increased fatigue, difficulty breathing, and memory problems, are some of the most subtle yet critical warnings that an elderly person may be approaching their final year. Each of these signs can indicate a decline in health that requires immediate attention. While these signs alone do not necessarily confirm that a loved one is nearing the end of their life, they serve as critical markers that something may be wrong. It's important to remember that not all elderly individuals will experience all of these signs. Some may show only 1 or 2, while others may display none at all. However, if you notice any of these changes, it's important to act. Early intervention and treatment can often improve quality of life and prolong life, allowing your loved one to experience their later years with more comfort and dignity. While these subtle signs are important to recognize, it's equally important to understand that they don't necessarily mean the end is immediate. Instead, they should serve as early warnings, prompting us to assess the situation more carefully. Often, we get caught up in the daily routines of caring for an elderly person and overlook these quiet indicators of change. But by identifying them early, we can take proactive steps to ensure that the individual's remaining time is as comfortable, dignified, and fulfilling as possible. Understanding these signs allows us to prepare for what's to come and make the necessary adjustments in caregiving, emotional support, and medical attention. Recognizing these changes doesn't mean we should panic. Rather, it's about being informed, aware, and ready to take action when it matters most. As we continue to explore the subtle signs that could indicate an elderly person is approaching their final year, it's important to understand that each individual's experience with aging and declining health is unique. While the signs we've discussed so far can point to a potential decline, they don't provide a definite timeline or certainty about the future. However, recognizing these shifts can help in planning the necessary steps to ensure a comfortable and peaceful end-of-life experience. Emotional and behavioral changes. In addition to the physical signs of aging, emotional and behavioral changes can also be an important indicator of someone nearing their final year. These changes might not be as noticeable at first, but over time, they can reflect deeper issues related to physical and mental health. For instance, an elderly person who has been relatively independent might begin to express feelings of helplessness, sadness, or isolation. These emotional changes can be triggered by various factors, including the recognition of their own declining health, loss of independence, or even depression. Depression in the elderly is often underdiagnosed and can manifest in ways that are different from what we might expect. Instead of expressing sadness, the elderly may exhibit irritability, withdrawal from social activities, or a lack of interest in things they once enjoyed. These signs, combined with physical symptoms such as weight loss or fatigue, may indicate that the individual is not only struggling with the physical realities of aging, but also with emotional challenges. Moreover, sudden behavioral changes such as increased aggression, confusion, or disorientation can also signal a deeper issue. In many cases, these changes are linked to cognitive decline or mental health issues like dementia or Alzheimer's disease. Such shifts might be gradual, but over time, they can indicate a deterioration in mental function that could require medical attention. It's essential to monitor these emotional and behavioral changes closely, as they can impact an elderly person's quality of life and overall well-being. Decreased mobility and balance issues. As the body ages, it becomes more vulnerable to injuries and limitations in mobility. However, when an elderly person begins to show a significant decline in their ability to walk, move around, or maintain balance, it may be a sign that their health is rapidly declining. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury and hospitalization among older adults, and a decrease in mobility is often an early warning sign that an individual may be approaching the final stages of life. Loss of mobility can be attributed to a number of factors, including arthritis, muscle weakness, neurological diseases, or even chronic conditions like diabetes or heart disease. In some cases, it may be the result of a progressive condition like Parkinson's disease, which affects the nervous system and can cause tremors, stiffness, and difficulty with coordination. As the disease progresses, the individual's ability to move around independently becomes more limited, and they may become more reliant on caregivers or assistive devices. When mobility begins to decline, it's crucial to address the situation as soon as possible to prevent further complications. Ensuring the safety of the elderly person in their environment, such as installing handrails, removing tripping hazards, and providing walking aids, can help mitigate the risks associated with reduced mobility. However, it's also important to address the underlying health condition that may be causing the decrease in mobility to improve their overall comfort and quality of life. Incontinence and changes in bathroom habits. Incontinence is another subtle sign that can often be overlooked, but it's an issue that becomes more common with aging. While many elderly individuals may experience some degree of incontinence, a sudden change in bathroom habits can signal a decline in physical or mental health. For example, if an elderly person suddenly has trouble controlling their bladder, or if they frequently experience accidents, it may indicate an underlying medical issue such as a urinary tract infection, UTI, prostate problems, or a neurological disorder. Incontinence is often a sign of a more significant health issue, and it can cause significant distress for the individual experiencing it. It may also lead to feelings of embarrassment, further isolation, or withdrawal. Recognizing these changes early can help you provide the support and care that's necessary to manage the condition and ensure that the individual remains as comfortable as possible. For many elderly individuals, incontinence can be a sign of a more severe decline in health, often related to conditions such as dementia or stroke. As the brain's ability to control bodily functions diminishes, the person may experience a loss of bladder or bowel control. This issue, if left unaddressed, can severely affect the individual's dignity and quality of life. Now that we've explored these subtle yet significant signs, it's crucial to understand that none of them should be ignored or dismissed. Recognizing these changes early allows caregivers, families, and medical professionals to intervene in ways that preserve comfort, dignity, and quality of life, whether it's addressing emotional shifts, managing physical limitations, or seeking medical treatment. These early signals give us the power to make informed decisions for our elderly loved ones. Understanding these subtle signs is the first step toward ensuring that their remaining years are as fulfilling and pain-free as possible. It's not just about acknowledging the inevitable. It's about making the most of the time we have left, supporting them through every transition with compassion and care. As we continue to explore these subtle signs, you may find yourself wondering, how can we make sure that the care we're providing is truly effective? Can we really prepare ourselves and our loved ones for this inevitable part of life? Or are we simply reacting to each new symptom as it arises? The truth is, recognizing these signs is only the beginning of a much larger journey, one that involves not just physical care, but emotional and mental preparation as well. In addition to recognizing the subtle changes in an elderly person's health, there are many ways we can improve their environment, mental state, and overall well-being to ensure that their remaining time is not only tolerable, but meaningful. What if there were simple adjustments we could make that would drastically improve their quality of life in these critical years? Imagine having a toolkit filled with knowledge, resources, and strategies to improve not just their comfort but also their happiness. What are the things we often overlook in terms of emotional support, social connection, and personal care that could provide immense relief during these years? As we dig deeper, we'll uncover these strategies, revealing what truly makes the difference between enduring and thriving in an elderly loved one's final years. Stay tuned as we uncover these essential steps and gain valuable insights on how to truly make the most of the time we have left. Just when you thought you had a clear picture of the signs that indicate an elderly person is nearing their final year, here's the twist. Not all of these signs are necessarily tied to the end of life. In fact, many of them can be symptoms of treatable conditions, and in some cases, they could even be reversed with the right interventions. For instance, sudden weight loss or changes in appetite could be linked to something as simple as a vitamin deficiency or a medication side effect, both of which can be addressed with timely treatment. This realization doesn't make these signs any less important. Rather, it highlights the complexity of aging and why it's crucial to approach each situation with a balanced perspective. While some symptoms may be a natural part of the aging process, others may have solutions that could drastically improve quality of life. It's not all doom and gloom. In fact, this could be the turning point for you to take action, seek medical advice, and explore the many ways we can manage these signs in a way that's compassionate, proactive, and ultimately empowering for both the elderly individual and their caregivers. After uncovering these subtle signs and recognizing the potential for change, the most important takeaway is that awareness truly is the key to a better outcome. The signs we've discussed, changes in appetite, unexplained weight loss, fatigue, confusion, and mobility issues are all pieces of a larger puzzle that reflects an elderly person's health. However, the power lies in how we respond to these signals. It's about understanding the full context and acting with compassion and foresight. Here's the reality: no one can stop the natural process of aging, but we can certainly shape how that journey unfolds. Early intervention is the cornerstone of improving comfort and extending quality of life. For example, if an elderly loved one starts showing signs of confusion or forgetfulness, seeking a cognitive assessment could lead to an early diagnosis of conditions like dementia, giving you the time needed to plan and adjust living arrangements or care routines. Similarly, managing a sudden loss of appetite or unexplained weight loss by consulting with a healthcare professional can uncover underlying conditions like depression, nutritional deficiencies, or even serious chronic illnesses that can be treated. Caregiving is about balance, acknowledging these signs and embracing the importance of support without panicking. It's about making sure that the elderly individual feels heard, respected, and cared for at every stage. Having conversations with them, involving them in their care decisions, and respecting their wishes can create a space where they continue to live with dignity even as their needs evolve. What's equally important is preparing yourself as a caregiver, emotionally and mentally. Understanding these signs means you can step into your role with clarity, knowing how to advocate for your loved one, how to provide them with the support they need, and how to make their final years as comfortable and fulfilling as possible. You're not just helping them, you're helping yourself prepare for the inevitable with grace, resilience, and love. Ultimately, the most fulfilling part of caregiving is knowing that you've done everything possible to ensure your loved one's comfort, joy, and dignity. It's not about avoiding the hard truths, but embracing them with the knowledge that you have the power to make a real difference. By recognizing these subtle signs and acting early, you are truly making the most of the time you have left, creating a legacy of care and love. Now that you're equipped with the knowledge of these subtle signs and their significance, it's time to take action. Don't wait until it's too late. If you notice any of these changes in your elderly loved ones, seek guidance from a healthcare provider. Start conversations with family members, healthcare professionals, and caregivers to ensure that everyone is on the same page and prepared for the next steps. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into caring for elderly loved ones and improving their quality of life. Drop your thoughts or experiences in the comments below, and let's start a conversation about how we can all support the elderly in their final years with compassion and dignity. Remember, early awareness can make all the difference. Let's make sure we're doing our part to help those who raised us live their final years with comfort, respect, and love.